Hello friends, I am Chevy. Welcome to my shed. Things are in a little disarray here. How are you today? How's life in your own house? Things where you are? I hope everything is good and great and wonderful and fantastic. Everything here is perfect. I had a really great weekend with Em. We did a lot of work on the basement. We got a lot of Pokemon in. Good times. And also, I got the new microphone, which I don't think we need because I think the cable fixed it. But I guess I think I ended up paying $9 for the microphone and the cable because I had some Amazon reward points. So all in all, I'm not hurt that I have a backup microphone for $9. I feel, oh my, that's very, very heavy. I feel pretty good about that. So I wanted to show you this one though. The box looks identical to their old style box. This one is gold. Huh? Should we replace it? Not going to. And I would have gotten, well, I would have gotten the wrong XLR cable anyway, so I'm glad I ordered the extra XLR cable because I wasn't sure. For those of you who are curious, this is a Neweer BM800 microphone, and I absolutely love it. It's a very, very, very inexpensive microphone, and it does a very, very, very good job with sound quality. And they also sent me a phantom power supply, so that's cool. I don't need that. This is not what I wanted to talk about, but now we got that out of the way. I got new components in for the train game from the Game Crafter, and I absolutely hate them. That's not fair. I don't hate the components. The components are great. In fact, I want to give a big thank you to the Game Crafter because after my last order, I noticed an issue that bothered me. It bothered me personally, and I came up with what I considered to be a simple solution. And I messaged the owner and said, hey, I'm having this problem. I would love it if I could maybe have a checkbox when I place my order, and it would fix, and you could on your end fix the problem. And I didn't hear back from him for like a couple of weeks, or maybe it was a week, a little over a week, something like that, 5 days, a week, who knows. Anyway, when I heard back from him, he said, you're like the third person ever who has complained about this. And I sent him a video of the complaint that I had, and what the complaint is doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is, the reason he didn't get back to me is because he went and did a case study. He checked all the employees to see if it affected them, and about 3 or 4 of them it affected, and the rest just didn't notice a difference. And he then did a print study on all of his machines to see if there was an issue there, and a manufacturing study to see, and he found the problem, or he found the solution to my problem, which was, of his customer base, an infinitesimally small portion of his process was a problem for an infinitesimally small portion of the people, and he decided to fix it, and he fixed it. And so the components that I got today are absolute best components I've ever seen, and I'm super duper happy with them. The point is, I hate the game. I can't stand it. I really screwed it up. And I'll tell you what I did. First off, I thought it would be fun to have starting resources. I would give everybody a couple of starting resources so you had a leg up. I thought that would be fun. I ordered them. I don't like them at all. They're completely getting removed. They're not necessary. Because I had this revelation. Part of the issue that I had was on your turn, you're moving the train one stop and you're picking up a card. And so resource gathering was really slow. It took you a long time to get resources. And I realized, why don't I put multiple resource types on each train car? Like, I think I mentioned I played Raccoon Tycoon. And I was laying in bed one night and I realized, no, that's not the answer. The answer is to keep seeding unclaimed spots. So lots of games do this. Like if nobody claims a spot in a round, you put a coin on it to emphasize, like maybe next round you'll take it because it has an extra coin. Well, in this game, I'm just going to put more goods on it. So you're going to be snowballing the amount of goods that you get as the game progresses. And I thought that would be really fun. And so it allowed me to introduce 2 more mechanics. One is an auction for victory points. And it's literally like this card, for instance, is get 8 corn, and you can start an auction, or 8, whatever it's called, grain. You can start an auction, minimum bid is 8, and whoever wins this gets 5 points. And then it goes up to 18 crates for 9 points. And I balance these out based on the distribution of the available resources in the deck, right? So these were all balanced for that. So I think this part works. It means that you have something, excuse me, it means you have something extra to do with all those resources now. You can start bids to get these. This also gives me my in-game mechanic. When 3 of these piles run out, the game ends. It also means you can adjust the game length by including more or less of these. So maybe in a 2-player game, there's only 2 of each, or something like that. And maybe in a 2-player game, there is no auction. You just straight buy them, and that's what that is. I also added, and here's where I screwed up. I added contract cards. And contract cards, my concept was, let's give some cool abilities. This one is one crude oil, 1 lumber or timber, and 2 grain. When selling freight, you get an additional coal for each gold. Freight would have gold symbols on it. Here's one that costs 6 grain that just says, after collecting freights but before restocking, you may take 1 grain from any stop. So on your turn, you'd move the train, you'd get whatever's there. You'd also could take a grain from somewhere else, just yours. And so I added a whole bunch of fun mechanics, like for 4 crude, you could reduce the cost of market bids and contracts by 1, meaning that when you would buy these cards in the future, you could reduce the cost by the 1 that's shown there. You know, it'd be free, essentially, or at least it would be no crude to play this freight selling card. So I thought it'd be fun to have these cool mechanics. And it is. I'm not saying that this part of the game is wrong. What I'm saying is these costs are completely screwy. Because I forgot when I was designing them, the freight cards have gold on them. And the gold is directly correlates into coal. You sell your cards, the amount of gold on them determines how much coal you get. It's 3 for 1. But gold is also victory points. So at the end of the game, you're going to get points for each gold that you have. I forgot when I designed all of these stupid-ass cards that I intended on part of the cost to be gold. Like you could spend, say for instance this card, when selling freight gain 3 additional coal, I said that you could spend a crude, a mail, and 2 timber. Well, the intent would be you could sell a crude, a mail, and 4 whatever. Like, 4 gold. And so because of these extreme restrictions, it makes the game feel dumb. Like, it feels really bad. And I'm going to say it, and I think John White was the one who pointed out that the crates on the backs of the cards was wrong. I shouldn't do that. You're right. I shouldn't. In the original game, I thought it was fine because you'd only have like a very small selection of goods in front of you, and it would be fun to have that hidden, like, I have 2, haha. In this, you've got a pile of resources in front of you now. There's a lot. And because these cards and these auctions cost a lot, you need to gather a bunch of resources before you do anything. And so it's just way too much effort to flip all these cards over and keep adding them up. And I thought it was, when it was you'd have a small group of resources, that was fun, but the small groups of resources also wasn't fun. The large group of resources is way more fun. It gives you way more flexibility. And once I completely redesign this whole freaking deck again and make it so that, you can spend anything, I think it'll be even more fun. The problem I'm having is I want to now put the number of crates that you get on the front of the cards, and I want it to go up to 3. I'm also considering making that number be your initiative for the next round. So, if you're only loading 1 of a crate, you get out of the station faster. Whereas if you're loading 3, so it would affect initiative for the following round. I'm not positive I'm going to do that yet. I'm going to think about that one as I go through this. I think the good news is I can continue to use the effects on these cards. I might just have to hand draw on this for a little bit just to test it, to see how the balance works with having a certain number of goods. But as it is right now, these cards are so restrictive that it takes turns just to get enough resources to buy one of these, and the payoff doesn't make up for the 3 or 4 turns you wasted to get one, right? Because you still have to save up resources to get the auction cards so that you can get victory points. There are victory points in this deck, but they're not 5 and 6 and 7 and 9 victory points. They're like 1 and 2 and 3 victory points. So you could add up a few victory points by going through this deck, but you're really going to get your main victory points from this auction mechanic. And so I say it's a good thing that the thing is garbage because it means I get to work on the game some more. And to be honest, the journey of working on the game for me is much more enjoyable than playing of the game. So I'm going to go back to the drawing board and work on it. and we'll see where we head from here. But I had a great weekend. What did you do this weekend? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you for being here as always. Thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing, being amazing friends and wonderful people. I really appreciate you. And I'll see you again tomorrow. Today's word you should know to sound smart is Gnosticism. It's a noun meaning the religious belief that salvation is attained through secret knowledge rather than through prayer, ritual, faith, divine grace, or good works. Many of the key principles of Christianity were formed as a direct response to Gnosticism. 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 Have you ever read any of the Gnostic texts? Any of the, there's books of the Bible that are not in the print edition. They're pretty interesting.